Hey guys, it's Mr. Fuzzy Lego, and today I'm bringing you some more custom Lego minifigures, and today I have 12 minifigures from Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Up front we have Rey, Finn, D-O, Zoe Bliss, R2-D2, General Leia, Kylo Ren, Lando Calrissian, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Finn, and BB-8. Alright guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. This set of minifigures was the most challenging, time-consuming, and exhausting set of figures I've ever had to make. And I originally wasn't going to make this many, but it just kind of kept piling on to the point where I was making a lot. So here's the full story. I had a dilemma. I was going to be away from my desk in the middle of December when the movie comes out. And I got started on these figures a little later than I should have. I got started on them November 23rd. And as of recording this, it is December 10th or 9th. So I made these figures in 2 weeks. And I wanted to put that into perspective because customizing takes a long time, and a set of minifigures like this, including Kylo Ren or Zoe Bliss, or even R2-D2 and C-3PO, takes a while. And so basically I was making minifigures all day every day, including 7 all-nighters that almost happened consistently. It was such a challenge to pull off, and I can't believe that I did it, and I made these minifigures because, oh my gosh, Star Wars means so much to me, and I did not want to miss that deadline. Despite what the sequel trilogy has become, the Star Wars saga is brilliant, and is by far my favorite movie franchise of all time, and I did not want to miss that date. So this was very important to me, and I said I'm going to give it my all, and I did, and it's here. All 12 of these minifigures, and it's insane. But Star Wars Episode 9 is the end of the Star Wars saga. 9 films, started back in 1977. That's insane, and, you know, it's like I said earlier, despite what you might think of the sequel trilogy, I love Force Awakens dearly. Last Jedi was alright, not my favorite film, but I can still enjoy it for what it did manage to pull off, and hopefully Rise of Skywalker will be fantastic, and I'll walk out of it thinking, fulfilled, all this work was fulfilled. So guys, that's it for this introduction. We have a lot to go through, so let's go ahead and get that started with. So first up is Rey, and I guess you could say I technically made this minifigure twice. Originally, when I made my last Rey from Star Wars The Last Jedi, I used a lot of just kind of painting in the robes and stuff. But this time I wanted to make sure I go all the way around with it and do 3-dimensional stuff. So the first version I did was with white electrical tape right here, and I used this for a few preview shots. And here's the back of the here. And I've used these for a few preview shots on my Instagram, social medias. But I decided this was a little bit clunky in some areas, so I decided to remake it and make it out of paper, which I think is definitely a cleaner substitute, and I actually like it a lot more than the previous one. So that does include making brand new waist capes and belts, which are all made out of electrical tape, and the holster is the same, as well as the legs and the head and choices and the arms. So the arms are just electrical tape bands, pretty much, and those are how those are done. The shoe detailing is really cool, and I believe it goes onto the bottoms too as well. There you go. No latches there because I don't think there would really be any on the bottom. But anyway, her lightsaber here and her weapon. I have a lot of accessories for Rey. But going first, of course, her gun here is just the pistol that she's been using since Force Awakens. I got that off of Firestar Toys, I believe, back in the day. I forgot the specific name of it, but if I remove it, I'll show you this right here. It's a really cool little accessory. Yeah, it's just painted lines and a few things. And you can see her other accessory here is the Skywalker family lightsaber, of course, and how this is made is with one of those Eclipse Graphics hilts, I believe what they're called. I got mine off of Firestar Toys the same time I got this thing. And what I did here is I sculpted onto the top to make that little ridge, the signature ridge that it has. I dropped it. The signature ridge that it has on the end here. And the little bits there are either clay or a 1x1 plant pieces. And then the bottoms are painted in a gloss black. So that's how those are done. And in her arm here, there's a little red handkerchief thing here, because you can see in one of the trailers, there's like a shot where Rey has like a band around the split, because of course there's supposed to be a split on the hilt here, but I couldn't put it on because it would interfere with the hand. So I did that out of electrical tape just to put it on there. I thought it would be kind of cool. And yeah, before I go on and click on to the next minifigure, I'm going to show you the other accessories that I have for this figure. So first of all, Rey's staff is pretty important, so I do have her staff painted here out of 2 lightsaber hilts, and then the middle here is just a bit there. You can see a bit of highlighting in dark gray metallic that I used, and attaching this like so. Put it there. You can clearly put on there to make it look right. So there's Rey's staff, and the second accessory that I have for her is the dagger that she uses in the final trailer as well. I forgot the specific name of it, but this is just made out of a scythe piece that I cut up and painted, and so you can see here, it's just a little bit. It's not very important. It just kind of does its job. and it looks pretty cool. So that's really it for Rey, and we're going to go on to the next minifigure. Next up is Finn, and I didn't really give him any cool accessories like I did for Rey, but I did do a lot of other things with him, including lots of three-dimensional elements onto the jackets and onto the belts here. You can see I incorporate some details from the last version of Finn I made with these little safety pins here for little bullet pieces, and there's some also on the holster down there you can see, or the belt, I suppose. And of course, Finn doesn't use his Poe Dameron Force Awakens jacket anymore. He has this brand new one, which is a lot of fun to paint. I already mentioned that it's three-dimensional elements, and the metallic blue is also a really nice touch. And he has these little bands on his wrists as well. Those are painted, and those were not fun to do, but I think they look pretty good. And the back of the jacket is pretty cool as well. Aside from the jacket, he sports a new hairstyle, which is, of course, the same Lego piece that Lego uses themselves, and it is the Lando from the Solo movie, so that's cool. He has standard blue dark legs with some painted details onto the shoes, and this is just a printed piece that I decided to carry over from the last version. But one other thing cool about Finn is his weapon here. Very awesome little paint piece. It's just one of those standard Lego Star Wars, I think, pistol guns that I painted up in silver and just try to make it look as best as I can. It's hard to paint on silver, so that's just kind of like my excuse. And before I end this segment, I want to show you the holster that I gave for Finn. It is a custom bit here, and it's really sweet. The belt is its own thing, and then the holster just kind of sits on top, as you can see. And yeah, I started doing this a lot with minifigures. I think I started doing it actually with The Last Jedi when I made like waist capes like this, so it's kind of cool to come full circle like this. And yeah, you can see there's a belt buckle paint underneath that as well. But yeah, guys, that's about it for Finn. Let's go on to the next minifigure. Here is Poe Dameron. I really like the connection that he has with Finn in the sequel trilogy. It's one of the most exciting parts for me personally. I just think their friendship is so genuine and really fun to watch, and this figure was really fun to make along with Finn, actually. So here they are together in case you really wanted to see. But yeah, this minifigure is actually a lot like, in a lot of ways, is similar to Finn in the fact that he has all these different three-dimensional elements and a belt here that is the same kind of way that I did this one where it comes off. So yeah, his gun is like almost the same except for a few minor details that I put on there. Yeah. And originally he had a light gray torso, but I decided that wasn't accurate enough, so I remade it and ended this other color. Different boot details, and the wrists are three-dimensional, as well as the bit here. And I'm going to remove the cloth here in a second, or the scarf, but here's a little bag that's attached to the belt that's sculpted. Now, if you remove the headpiece here, I'm going to show you the torso detail and the scarf, which is really cool, one of the best parts of this figure, in my opinion. It's just three-dimensional, and it has all this different painted patterns there. That was really hard to get, and it's outlined in a light brown, so I thought that was more accurate than using a black. And here you can see the back here as well, if I can move it around with one hand. There you go. That's how that's done. It's not going to focus. And there we go. You can kind of see how that's done. Okay, whatever. So there's a bunch of detailing underneath the scarf here. You can see the skin is exposed, and then the little bits here where he has his, like, I guess it's a bag that goes on across the store, whatever. It's made out of bits of rubber that I painted up, and I think it came out pretty cool, and it does extend to the back as well, and onto the top, if I can show you that. There you go. So it does go onto the top. And he has three-dimensional wrists, and yeah, his pockets are three-dimensional as well. But yeah, that's about it for Poe Dameron. I'm going to give him the aggressive facial expression without the scarf, so, you know, I might as well give it some sort of variety. But that's it for Poe. The next minifigure is Chewbacca, and I'm going to say I made so many Chewbaccas, but I really haven't. It's only like my third or fourth version of Chewbacca that I made. But it still applies to how you do the torso and the legs and everything, where you just kind of make it look really cool and random little fur patterns. A lot of people use like clay and they make all stuff and they make it cool looking, but I just kind of paint it on. It looks fine for me, and I did extend his legs because I thought that was necessary because he's a bit taller, and I didn't have any more woody legs on me, and even if I had woody legs, I don't think I would use them because I think they're a bit too tall. So, yeah, I didn't paint the Chewbacca piece either because this is the only one that I have, and I want to save it because it's cool. He's got some toe detailing painted on, and if I move the legs, you can see how there's still fur patterns painted into the insides of the legs as well. And his torso is just the plain dark brown torso, as well as these hands are just kind of standard Lego hands. There's more fur paint onto there as well, too. So, one other thing I want to show you before I show you the bowcaster, which is the biggest part of this minifigure. If I can take this off, you can see how the bag here for the bandolier is simply just a sculpted piece. If I can get my hand out of the way, I'll show you this. So this is what the bag of the bandolier looks like, and it just kind of attaches onto the leg piece here. and this just goes over it, and then the Chewbacca minifigure piece just goes on top of that to make it look kind of like the bag is connected, sort of, not really. So the biggest part of this minifigure is the bowcaster, which is completely modified. It's painted in a gunmetal, but even before I had to paint it, I sculpted on these little balls onto the end, and I cut off the little hook that goes around the front here, as well as attach the string. And there used to be 2 little bits that run on the insides of it. I cut those off and sanded it down so you wouldn't really see where it was attached. And then the last thing I did besides, I put this little thing on. It's a little bit of paint that I painted in gunmetal as well, a little band. But the last bit of detailing I did was the scope, and that is off of a Stormtrooper blaster that I just kind of cut up and attached and glued. And I think it came out really cool, and definitely suits this minifigure justice, because I think it came out really nice. And it's not really centered, but it's fine. That's it for Chewbacca. Let's move on to the next minifigure. Next up is Zorii Bliss, Kerry Russell's entrance into the Star Wars universe. And guys, would you believe me if I said I made this in like 2 days? Because that's exactly what kind of happened. You can kind of see that the red on the torso and the red onto the legs, or the black on the legs. You can see the detailing on the bodysuit. That was all done in 1 day, and the rest of it, the gold detailing, the belts, the helmet, the guns, the weapons, the holster, everything was painted in 1 night, believe it or not. That is just crazy to me, and that's why I guess you'd say it's not the best looking minifigure of my standards, honestly. I think it looks really cool, especially the helmet. I think that came out really nice. It's sculpted onto a Lego minifigure head. But yeah, just a lot of this detail is just kind of like random things. I tried to look at reference for most of it, but it is just stuff like that. You can see the belts are just painted, looking out of electrical tape for most of that detailing, and it's just painted on. And brown is just kind of an annoying color to work with. I'll restate that when I go over C-3PO. But it is a more of a thick, annoying color, sort of like white, where it just doesn't really apply perfectly. So if there's any bits where it looks a little inconsistent, that's why, because it's just a little hard to do. But yeah, this bit here is 3-dimensional, and yeah, you can just look at the pattern on the back of this belt. It's like, that's kind of what the front of the belt looks like, but you can't see it because of all the detail. But yeah, the helmet, if I go ahead and remove the figure from the stand, you can see the helmet on the top of the head, and the antenna there is a safety pin. She kind of has like basic pairs of boots here, and they're painted to look exactly how they do at both sides. And this minifigure, this leg here down there, it actually cracked at one point while I was making it, and I had to re-glue that. And I think the seam that I re-glued looks pretty seamless to me. I think that it came out really nice. Originally, I was just going to scrap the figure because if her leg was broken, it was after I painted all this detail. It was just a waste, so I just, you know, I said, okay, if I can't fix it, and I'm scrapping it. And thankfully, that wasn't the case, and I was able to finish this minifigure because it looks really cool. And her blasters here are painted exactly the same as well. They're identical, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can take them, well, not off, but out of the way so you can see them a bit easier. They are Star Wars Lego Stormtrooper blasters, as always, with the scopes painted off and sanded down to make it look really cool with the different gold detailing, looking really awesome. Tried to make them look exactly the same on both sides, and I think it came out really well. So guys, I'm very happy with this minifigure. I think it came out really well, and I'm really excited to see what role she plays in the film. It seems like she's some sort of a bounty hunter or assistant in some way to this team, and hopefully she does a lot more. She might even like destroy C-3PO, I don't know. But that's about it for Zorii Bliss. Let's go on to the next minifigure. Next up is returning character Lando Calrissian, and I'm really excited that Billy Dee Williams will be reprising his role and portraying this character again. It's really exciting, and I think this came out really well. Originally, whenever the first teaser came out where we saw Lando, I knew for a fact that I was going to make him. And so this minifigure is fairly simplistic. It has just a basic yellow torso there. And I'll get the accessories out of the way first. His first accessory is this weapon. It's just kind of, I had a lot of fun trying to build this or construct it. It's just a bunch of random little Lego stuff. I think the base of this was a Stormtrooper blaster as usual, like little Lego Star Wars blasters. And this is a bit of clay, and I don't even know what this bit is, but the scope is definitely from a Stormtrooper rifle that I use. It's the same kind of rifle that I used for Chewbacca for his bowcaster here. Just painted in this color now. And so if I remove this, just got some other detailing on there. But his cane here, it's kind of hard to get a good picture of his cane, but this is the one that I did. It's got the silver on the bottom, the gold kind of in the top. And yeah, you can see the detail here on the torso easily, and the head is painted, by the way, as well. I did paint the head fully painted. It's hard to get that mustache color actually really right. But anyway, I did use the hairstyle that Lego did use as well. It's the Doctor Who hairpiece that I've been using. I used it on Joe from Practical Jokers, and that was pretty cool. And if I remove this, I'll show you how the cape is did. This is definitely the hardest part of the minifigure, was deciding how I was going to make the cape. And this is, you already saw this piece fell off. This is just kind of what goes on top for make the collar. But this is painted in a metallic blue, same as the color that's on the torso, on the the cape here, because I thought metallic blue would just be really cool, even though it may not be totally accurate, but it is a metallic blue. So now you can see how this is done. This is just made out of paper, because if you guys don't know, I make my capes and weights capes and all that stuff out of paper. So just kind of to show you that you can do really cool things with individual little house products you can find stuff. But you can see how there's the band goes onto the back of the torso, just a bit of electrical tape, and the legs are very simplistic, just a little bit of painted shoe detail. And if I go ahead and put this back on, we'll go ahead and end the segment if I can fully construct them. Here comes the collar bit. There we go, and then his head is right here, and we'll just give that to him. But yeah, guys, that's it for Lando Calrissian. I'm really excited to see him in this film again. So the next figure is General Leia, and you might imagine a figure like, I don't know, Kylo Ren, BB-8, or even R2-D2 would be the hardest to make in terms of detail, but really, General Leia was the hardest, just because there's really no reference of her, because her appearance in the film is, you know, taken from old, unused clips from The Force Awakens, I believe. And that's just really cool. I really gotta commend J.J. Abrams and the people working at Star Wars to do that, because instead of doing maybe digital, or maybe even recasting her, they used old footage and just kind of used it and went with it. And I thought that was really cool, and I want to commend them for that. So, you know, it's just really nice of them, I suppose. But anyway, this figure is definitely really hard to make, because all we had was a few shots from a few trailers that was just like the cape, and that was it. So this figure may not be the most detailed because it's just kind of simplistic. She has a very basic pair of boots, though. I did paint those. And she's got a belt detail, and the cape here is just a bit of paper as well. Definitely one of the more difficult parts is the wristband here, which I painted. It was really, really cool, I suppose. And her hairpiece is just the standard, like, Princess Leia, like, Hoth hairpiece. It's just the first thing I can think of. It's also in the Shuttle Tydirium set, and that's actually where the same headpiece came from that I just kind of painted on some little wrinkles here, and the lips I repainted. I did the same thing on the back as well to make it a bit more aged. But yeah, I'm really happy with this minifigure, and I'm really excited to see her in this movie, because it's just, you know, we still miss Carrie Fisher, and we still love her, and we're very grateful for the impact she had on this world, and just to kind of say goodbye to her character one last time is going to be difficult. So yeah, but anyway, that's it for General Leia, and let's go on to the next minifigure. The next minifigure I'm going to show you is the brand new droid from Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, D-O, and this was a figure that I was kind of debating making, just because I didn't know how I was going to do it originally. I didn't know if I was even going to be able to, but I decided that I was going to spend like $10 on this figure on Bricklink because it was brand new, and just get the mold and just kind of paint for it from there. So basically what I did is I painted the green onto the nose bit here, and the little line that wraps around this, because this is kind of a basic minifigure, kind of like how BB-8 started out whenever he comes out in sets. But a big detail of this was definitely painting all the indents of the little roller bits so that he has a bit of traction, I believe is what that's for. Obviously, it's just for detail on my minifigure, but that was difficult to get right because those lines are very thin, and the paint that I was using was really annoying. But you know, besides that, the hardest thing about this minifigure was definitely these little gray squares, and not even perfect squares. They're just kind of there. And that was pretty cool. I did paint this little wire too. I thought that was a little gray wire there. But yeah, I painted the nozzle there, outlined it, and then the last bit of these little tiny bits of like safety pins to act as the antenna. And here's the size scale comparison. Here's Rey. You can just see how tiny this thing is. So it was definitely fun, not difficult, because I'm used to painting stuff like this, and I find it to be pretty fun. So that's it for Dio. Let's hope he has a really great presence in this film, because this is the only appearance he's probably going to get for now. And of course, there's BB-8 returning as his role as BB-8, and this figure came out really nice, definitely different than the one I made from The Last Jedi, and this one was just kind of customly sculpted because I did not have access to a BB-8 Lego figure, so this one was definitely really cool, but in terms of detail, it's not the most accurate thing, and it's just kind of different, kind of weird looking. So when the opportunity came to actually make a BB-8 using an official Lego minifigure like of BB-8, I was really excited, and I decided to go ahead and take that opportunity, and we have this figure now. So this one is kind of obsolete now. Sorry about that being old BB-8. But yeah, this one has came out extremely well. Painting lines is difficult. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. So some of these lines may not be perfectly straight, but I'm really happy with them. I especially like all the bolts in here, which are accurate. And yeah, you know, I used bits of BB-8, like official artwork, to make each of these little circles accurate with the details surrounding it. The lines here are painted as well, little boxes and different detailing, just a lot of outlining really is what this is all about. And then the lenses here are three-dimensional using 1x1 plant pieces. And yeah, paint on the bottom. I did not paint the little like almost battle damage maintenance version of BB-8, like the Black Series and Pop figures, I think, portray. I didn't know how accurate it's going to be in the movie, so if it will end up being pretty substantial, I might go ahead and paint all that detail onto one of these circles. Probably this one, I don't know. But yeah, he does use safety pins for the antennas, just like how I did this version, so that's kind of something that they share. And yeah, that's really it for BB-8. Really happy with him, and kind of sad to see him go. But anyway, that's going to be it for BB-8. I'm really happy that I decided to make it again, because this definitely tops the original. Next up is C-3PO, and I personally believe that this figure was like mandatory to make. Not because I thought the old one was obsolete or bad. I'm still actually really proud that I was able to make that 2 years ago, but just because his presence seems like it's going to be the biggest in this third film. Not only with him like joining Finn and Rey and Poe on their like adventure, but also making some sort of a change in the story. He's going to be doing something in this movie, and I just thought it was really important to make a brand new C-3PO. So this one is really detailed, and I did some really cool things with him. I probably gave him like the most accessories, even compared to like Rey with her freaking staff. But anyway, yeah, this is just basically me copying Lego's print. It's exactly what I did 2 years ago, and just made it all with brown. Like I said with Zorii Bliss, brown paint is really annoying to work with, so it was really hard to get these to look really right most of the time. But you can see how there's just more painted stuff everywhere, and the little circle bits are three-dimensional actually. They're like paper, and then I just painted on the rings in it, and that was difficult. But you can also see that I did use detailing onto the arms, and those were pretty fun and hard to do at the same time, and the little outlined parts of the eyes, and then I also outlined the back as well. So the first accessory I'm going to give him is something that's really cool in my opinion. If you take off the head, you can see that I painted on an additional head, and this is just the same C-3PO head, but it has the red eyes where he's clearly doing something pretty substantial, and I really like the way this came out, and it's basically the same head just painted with the red eyes and the things outlined there too. So yeah, that's just made with a metallic glossy red with the little dots just being black, and I just thought it was really cool to actually do this, and I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And the second accessory I made for C-3PO is way bigger, and I don't even know how accurate it's going to be to the movie, but the Black Series figure describes C-3PO having a bandolier very similar to the one that Chewbacca has, and a very similar bowcaster that Chewbacca has. So, I made C-3PO a little bandolier, and you can just kind of give C-3PO Chewbacca's bowcaster. Originally I had two, but the scope on the other one broke, so I thought it would just be safer just to show him like this. And yeah, here he is. He's just got a little bowcaster there. The bandolier is custom painted, and the bandolier there is painted and sculpted, and it has a bit of little gray, little bullet hole things there. So yeah, I don't know how accurate this is going to be. It might even be a spoiler, but the Black Series figure shows C-3PO doing this, so I think it'd be really cool to have C-3PO like shoot some stormtroopers or something. And if he does do that, I want to make sure I capture it in Lego first. So yeah, this is armed C-3PO, as I call him, and I think that it's really cool for him to do this, especially if he's going to do some sort of, you know, personal thing to us in the film. So, yeah, that's it for C-3PO, and I'm going to move on to the next minifigure. And next up is R2-D2, and maybe my last custom Lego R2-D2 for a while, because this is actually my fourth one that I've made, and I've made one for practically like every single time that a Star Wars movie came out, and that includes Rogue One with my little black R2-D2 that I made. Now, R2-D2 figures aren't exactly the easiest thing in the world to make, and they don't get easier as you keep doing them, so this is basically my Rise of Skywalker R2-D2 because it's more simplistic than anything else. There's no really outlining on the back or anything, as you can see, so I did paint all that again with Fan, and they came out really clean this time specifically. He has little bits here, which are kind of like his little lenses. They are plant pieces, which are the same things that I've used for BB-8 on the past, and yeah, it's just because they're just painted with some metallic grays in there. He's got a third foot in here, which is just the cheese loaf piece that people have been using for R2-D2. Definitely looks really cool. It makes it look really awesome. Yeah, he's just got some more basic detailing. It's kind of hard to describe because I've made R2-D2 so many times in the past, so this is just like hopefully my final R2-D2 for a while, and I'm really happy with it. So let's go on to the final minifigure. So the last minifigure is Kylo Ren, and I'm really excited I got to make this minifigure again, and you can see that the detail I missed out on doing on the Last Jedi Kylo Ren that I made was that I just kind of painted on lines, basic lines for the different parts here of Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren kind of has like a different design there, so I just kind of did that accurately this time around and made it gunmetal gray just like how it's supposed to be, with some little bits of accents like metallic black running through the center and then the gray underskirt there. But yeah, the biggest part of this minifigure definitely has to be the new helmet, and by new, it's just the old one that he smashed and then put back together, and so you can see that he has all of these little red lines indicate where he was fixing the helmet, or where someone was fixing the helmet. And you can see that it's just like a gloss red that I made, and then just painted over different lines. Try to make it as accurate as I could, but it's difficult to make it exactly accurate. So half of it is like accurate, and half of it is just me making patterns. So that's what I did for the helmet. And the shoes here, or not the shoes, but the boots have their own detailing as well with metallic black, and they look really sweet how it shines there and at certain angles of the light. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, his helmet is definitely the biggest part. It's sculpted on. It was just sculpted onto a Lego minifigure head, and then sanded down to make it thinner. And then this bit is sculpted, like the ridge there is sculpted as well. And then it's just all painted on the center there. And the little nostril bit there is just a piece of rubber that I found lying around. So that's that. But yeah, his lightsaber is really cool too. It's just the crossfade lightsaber that I've been making for a really long time. However, it has some detailing onto here, whatever I could make out onto the reference that I was using, just more red lines. It's the same red paint that I used for the helmet, and different painted details. So yeah, one last detail I want to put out about this Kylo Ren before I move on and finish this video actually is his custom helmet head that I made. So I did make a head for Kylo Ren if I remove the helmet. It's the very awesome part of this figure, I suppose you could say. I don't even know what head went. Here it is. It's a new Kylo Ren head, and it looks cleaner than the one I made for The Last Jedi. It's kind of like a theme where things just kind of get cleaner, because that's how progress works, I think. But yeah, I'm going to remove the lightsaber as well. You can see, oh, the arm is messing up, I guess. But yeah, you can see that the head is just painted. Definitely tried to make it look really cool with the different lines, different cheekbone things. And his hair is just the Octu Lego hairpiece, like the Luke Skywalker hairpiece from The Last Jedi, just painted in black to give it that really nice, like, shaggy look. And other than that, I think this figure turned out really nice. I really like the way it turned out. And, yeah, that's about it for this video, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And I hope you guys enjoyed. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for my custom LEGO Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker minifigures. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down below by leaving it a like. And checking out my social medias, as I posted a few previews and all that. Not necessarily previews, but just cool shots of these minifigures while I was working on them. I just want to elaborate how much time I spent on these minifigures. Just one more time. It was insane, and I'm really, really happy and proud that I got it done. And I'm restless. I'm gonna probably sleep throughout my entire vacation I'm going on. When I'm just gonna be trying to recover from this nightmare. But I'm really proud of these figures. I'm really happy that I got to do this, and I would never trade it for anything else, basically. I don't regret it. I don't regret making these figures. With all that being said, guys, that's it for this video, and I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.